Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alpa Hora, and I lead the Child Protection Program at UNICEF in Maharashtra. So just for a moment, I'd like to invite all of you to just close your eyes and imagine the horizon. For many of us, the horizon is a faraway space, an open space, a beautiful space, and that line that we chase for the future with a lot of hope. But for Sheetal, a 14-year-old girl living in the drought-prone district of Jalna, the horizon was not an invitation. It was a wall. Sheetal's parents migrate every year from October to March to harvest sugarcane. And there is no choice for Sheetal because she has to migrate as well. At the fields, there is no classroom. There is no nutritious food, no electricity as well. There is just toil, dust, and the continuous risk of early marriage and child labor. For girls like Sheetal, the horizon is a place that she cannot even start imagining. But there is a quiet revolution that is taking place in the district where she resides. Born from the partnership of UNICEF, the government of Maharashtra, and two local civil society organizations, there is a unique cadre of young change makers that is growing from the ground, the Bal Mitras. The Bal Mitras are friends of children, as the name suggests, and they are the young youth volunteers just like many of you, aged between 17 and 29. These young Bal Mitras are the heartbeat of their villages. And one such Bal Mitra, Bhim Rao, did not want Sheetal to slip through the cracks. So he actually talked to Sheetal's parents and convinced them that Sheetal must stay behind rather than migrate with them each year. And they were convinced. So Sheetal stayed back. She participated in various programs conducted by the Bal Mitras, study classes, recreation programs, mental health and well-being sessions. She, of course, escaped the work in the fields, but she also stood first at a district level competition that is titled Neen Jnani Honar, and she says that means I will study and I shall be wise, and that was an occasion of celebration for the entire village, not just she and her family at her school. Most Bal Mitras grow up on the move. Most of these Bal Mitras have actually grown up on the move, and their childhoods are not measured by the years of their participation in school, but the seasons that their parents actually endured in the harvesting. And so they know exactly what it means for a child to see opportunities slip by, all the time missing out on things because they are just moving from place to place. That is precisely the reason why they have chosen to volunteer, because they do not want other children, the younger generation, to miss out on opportunities in life and live a life of disruption. So you take Shankar Gaikwad. Shankar is a member of a scheduled caste family, and he spent his childhood migrating from place to place. But Shankar joined in as a volunteer, and from a very, very shy boy, he found a huge purpose. He not only found a role for himself, he found a voice, an agency, and also a mission for life. You'd be really happy to understand that Shankar is an elected representative, a sarpanch, the village headman today. And he has moved and transformed from a quiet, diffident boy to a courageous community leader. An amazing story. And while the days of volunteering are behind him, his spirit to serve the community has just grown and multiplied. As a sarpanch, he has used all his strength, all his finances to transform the village school. So there are digitized classrooms, there are new toilets, there is a water tank. He's actually constructed 300 homes for people who were living in dilapidated conditions. So you can see the huge contribution that he has made to break the intergenerational cycle of poverty. And because of all these efforts of Shankar and so many other Bal Mitras, today there are 6,000 children who are escaping migration, staying behind in their homes with their grandfathers, grandmothers and other relatives and continuing their education. A story of true transformation. But why does child protection matter so much? Because protecting childhoods is just not so important for the future. It matters now for the children. Children drop out of school, they may perform badly in their education, they may have mental health concerns emerging as well. And some of these scars will carry on even beyond into adulthood. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child promises all children a childhood that is protected, safe and happy. Our Indian Constitution as well guarantees children the right to protection. So protection is really for all children everywhere. No one left behind. Aspects such as child marriage, forced labor, and the trauma of separation in unsafe situations are just some examples that impact children deeply. Did you know that 1 in 4 girls in India are married before the age of 18? I mean, just imagine what that number is. And did you know that violence is not always visible? It hides in digital spaces through online abuse. It hides in the corridors and hallways of schools where bullying just happens so significantly. And it is in cultural norms where gender discrimination takes place. Quite shockingly, in Maharashtra itself in 2023, there were 22,000 plus cases recorded as crimes against children. That's like 1 crime every 23 minutes. So indeed, these numbers are telling us a story of stolen childhoods. But what do these facts actually tell us to do? It says stop looking at child protection as a law, a policy, or even a department. It says start seeing child protection as a daily commitment from all of us, because safety does not belong to the courtroom or a law. It begins in the quiet, everyday lives of people. And it should begin long before a child is hurt. So prevention is truly our first line of defense. And it's a collective responsibility. And it's only when the entire community comes together to build that safety net that we will be able to ensure that all children remain protected. It's very interesting, and I truly believe that not all solutions come from the top to the bottom. And I have seen it all the time that local youths take charge and lead the way. They have this sense of innovation, they have the sense of understanding, this connect with the field. They can feel when the things are not going okay, and they can come with really innovative solutions from the ground. And though India has made incredible strides in ending child marriage, in addressing many child rights violations, the law is not enough. We need to strengthen and support every citizen to participate, especially our youth. And I say this because I think youth possess a very quiet power. They dream big. They truly believe that justice should prevail. They truly believe that another world is possible and things can change. And so they are our future, and they are going to be the protagonists of change, of transformation in our society, and most of all in protecting children. Youth really are the biggest asset, and you all know that today India has the largest population of youth, and they must be guided with the right tools, the right frameworks, the right connections, so that their passion can actually turn into tangible impact. I want to really share my journey of becoming a social worker. I was a volunteer while I was at school, and I would go and teach at a neighboring slum community every Sunday. I would teach English. And on one day, in that dingy classroom with so many little children, I asked one of the girls, a 10-year-old one, what does she want to be? And she said, I'm going to be a doctor. And your hour of teaching me English is going to get me there. I was just amazed. For me, it was just 60 minutes. But for that child, it was a lifetime of hope. And truly, this has impacted me so much. It has really transformed me and become a very, very precious value. So here, I have 3 asks from you. 1, look for spaces to volunteer. You might be a techno person, you might be a math mind, you might be a media person. Anything is important. Your skills can truly be a lifeline for many, many NGOs, the communities, and now even government is opening up their doors for young people like you. Use your influence to shift norms. I think this is really important that we all, and particularly youth, challenge harmful beliefs. And these can be done in our classrooms, amongst our peers, online, and even in our homes. Because change does not always start with protests or with policies. It starts with conversations that we have. It starts with raising questions. And it definitely calls for us to say that we shall never stop raising uncomfortable issues if they have to be. I do believe that norms will shift much faster when they are in interactions. Act, connect, and follow through. I think a lot of times children and adolescents don't just need advice. They want connection. Try and be a mentor. Try and be a role model. But most of all, I do believe that if you can be a safe, trusted, dependable adult for a child or a peer, that is a huge contribution towards protection. I truly believe when I talk to other volunteers and from my own experience that volunteerism gives a unique kind of joy and fulfillment. It's not just about giving back. I think you learn so much. You grow so much personally, you grow so much professionally. You get to see another world that you have never experienced in your lifetime. And you gain tremendous professional skills. So it's really about opening new doors. And volunteerism is not about just lending a helping hand, but it's about sharpening talents and making real impact. And as I close, I leave you with 2 requests. 1, to the decision makers, empower the next generation. Open up spaces so that young people can participate and bring in their passion that will match your experience. And to my fellow young people, claim those spaces. I do believe that you have so much to give. When you walk into the room and you speak, you spark hope, you spark passion, you spark ideas, and that is so important in our development process. This is Swati, she's one of the volunteers, was married as a child, and when she saw Bal Mitras in her village contributing to social development, she too became a change maker. And Swati made a promise to herself and her sister that her sister would continue her education and she would not be married before she was a teacher. And so, after listening to Swati, I realized that for Swati, her journey as a volunteer didn't just change her. It helped her to protect someone else's future as well, her sister's. So today, if you had to make just one promise in your life, let it be this. Let's protect children from risk and harm. Let's stand with them. Let's break the cycles and protect futures. And let's shape the horizon with the choices that we make. Thank you.